So many people are moving out of the state of California, and many of these people are deciding to move to Arizona. In 2022, over 74,000 people moved from California to Arizona in that 1 year alone. Now, that is just an outrageous amount of people moving from one state to the other, and I am going to get into the top reasons on why people are choosing Arizona when moving from California. Now, this video is going to sound a little bit like I'm bashing on California, but really I'm not. California is an amazing state. I love to visit there, but when there are so many people moving out of a state, you have to look into why that is, and those are the reasons we're going to get into today, because there really are some negative drawbacks to California that you might not have thought of. So we're going to get into all of it in this video. Making the move to Phoenix can just be a daunting task because it's not as simple as moving to the city of Phoenix. We have so many different suburbs and cities within the Phoenix Valley. You have to look into Chandler, Scottsdale, Peoria, all these different towns within the Phoenix area. It can get really confusing. So what I've done is I've made a comprehensive moving to Arizona guide. It goes through the different neighborhoods, the cities, the suburbs, everything that you need to know to decide which part of the Phoenix Valley might be a good fit for you. I was born and raised here in Phoenix, and I am a local realtor here, so I have a ton of information about the different areas, and it's just a really great research point for you to find out what cities might be a good fit for you and your family. So all you need to do is send me an email and I'll send that right over to you. Now, other than that, let's go ahead and get into the top reasons. One of the reasons that people choose to move from California to Arizona is because of the quality of life. Now, I know the lifestyle in California is absolutely amazing. You have the beach vibes, the laid back, the major cities, and it is just a really cool feeling in California, and I do understand that. I visit California and I just love it there. But Arizona's quality of life, when I talk about that, I mean a work-life balance. Arizona has a much lower cost of living, so you can afford to take more time off and do more leisure activities that you enjoy because you don't have to be worked to the bone just to afford things like you might have to do in California. Arizona is going to give you a lot more opportunities, like I said, to just do things that you enjoy to do. And that leads me into the next point on why people move from California to Arizona, and that is the cost of living. As I'm sure you know, California has a pretty high cost of living when compared to everywhere else in the nation. It is one of the highest states on the index rating, and Arizona is on the lower end, especially Phoenix in particular. Phoenix is generally pretty affordable when compared to the national average. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to compare major cities in California to Phoenix on the index. This is the cost of living index. So 100 is going to be the national average on the index. So if you're below 100, your city is going to be below the national average for cost of living. If you're above 100, you're going to be above the national average for cost of living. So let's go ahead and use this to compare these cities. So in Phoenix ranks at a 104 on the cost of living index. So that is 4% higher than the national average. Now let's compare it to LA. LA is a 140 on the cost of living index. That is 40% higher than the national average and 36% higher than Phoenix. So that is quite a bit higher. Now let's get into San Francisco, which I believe is one of the very highest in all of the country. San Francisco is a 178 on the cost of living index, and that is 78% higher than the national average. San Diego sits at a 136 on the index, 36% higher than the national average. So as you can see, California is quite a bit higher in general than the national average, of course, but then Phoenix. Phoenix is almost on par with the national average, just 4% above. So your money is just going to go a lot further in Arizona than it does in California, because at this point, California's prices for pretty much everything are outrageously high. I mean, everything is so expensive over there, and it just pinches every penny and makes you, as I talked about in the last point, it just makes you have to work harder and not be able to take as much time off to do things that you really enjoy. So overall, Phoenix's cost of living is a lot lower than pretty much anywhere in California, and that is the number one reason why people move from California to Arizona, and not just Arizona, but many other states. But Phoenix in particular is considered a generally affordable city. Now let's talk traffic. I am a realtor here in the Valley, and I work with a ton of relocating clients, and the people coming from California are always concerned about traffic in our city, and especially in the area that they're looking in. And it's really not going to be an issue in Phoenix. You are not going to have to deal with traffic a lot. We'll have our 2 hours of rush hour that have a little bit of traffic, but it's going to be nothing compared to the California, especially in the major city areas of California. California has some of the worst traffic in all of the nation, especially in the major cities, and Phoenix is on the complete opposite spectrum of that. We are the 5th largest city in the nation, and our traffic is some of the best in the nation. And that is due to our really good highway system. Our highways go in a loop around the valley and through the valley, so it keeps traffic down quite a bit. Our road system is very, very well designed, and you're just not going to run into traffic here a lot. And parking is another thing. In California, every time I visit, I have to worry about parking. Where are we going to park? How am I going to fit into this spot? It is just not an issue in Phoenix. Phoenix is so spread out. We have tons of parking space. You're never going to be fighting for a spot. And that's really something that Californians love about Phoenix, is we just really don't have traffic, and parking is abundant. You're never going to be searching for it. Now let's talk taxes in Arizona versus California. Taxes are extremely boring, and I am not a tax advisor. So this is not tax advice. This is just what I found about taxes in Arizona versus California that may save you some money if you're making this move. So Arizona has some of the very lowest property taxes in all of the nation. Our average percent is 0.51%. California is somewhere in the middle towards the top in the nation in property taxes, and they come in at an average of about 0.75%. So here's just a quick example to make it simple for you to see the savings that you could have. In Arizona, the estimated property taxes on a $500,000 house is about $3,200 per year. In California, on the other hand, the estimated taxes on a $500,000 house, the same value as Arizona, is going to be about $4,200 per year. So these are estimations. This is not exact, but it is going to save you quite a bit of money in Arizona just on property taxes alone. The other part of the taxes is going to be the state income taxes in Arizona when compared to California. So to keep this simple, let's compare a $100,000 income in both states and see what an estimated cost is that you would pay in state taxes. So in-state taxes for a $100,000 income, in Arizona, it is estimated that you'll pay about $1,900 per year in state income taxes. And in California, it is estimated that you will pay about $2,700 per year in state income taxes. So these savings are on top of the already lower cost of living in Phoenix. So this is just more savings that are just in taxes that come every single year when living in Arizona versus California. Now keep in mind, these are not exact numbers. These are estimations. I am not a tax expert. This is just from my research. So I definitely advise you talk to a tax consultant if this is something that you are interested in. But I just wanted to give you a quick rundown on what you could save in Arizona versus California on taxes every single year. The geography of Arizona is really fantastic for someone moving from California. Now, I know we do not have the beach or, the major huge destination cities that California has, but we do have a lot to offer here and much more variety than you might think. First of all, if you're moving from California and you're leaving some family or friends back home, if Phoenix is just about a 5 to 6 hour drive from Southern California, so you can easily go back home to visit with a pretty quick trip and not even having to take a flight. But if you do need a flight, Phoenix does have the Sky Harbor Airport, which is an international, really large airport, and it has many direct flights to so many different cities. You won't have to worry about layovers or anything like that for the most part. So Phoenix is really great for people moving from California because you're close enough to go back and visit home. Now, talking about the geography of the state itself, Arizona actually is a desert, of course. In the south, we have a lot of desert out here in the Phoenix area, but we do have a larger northern and eastern portion that is mountainous and pine forests. Arizona actually has the world's largest continuous ponderosa pine forest in the northern and eastern part of the state. So we do have higher elevation parts of our state. The city of Flagstaff is one of our major towns that is up north, and that is a higher elevation than Denver. We have snowboarding, skiing up there. In the middle of July, when it's 110 down here in Phoenix, it's going to be 80 degrees up there in Flagstaff with a breeze. So it's very, very nice escape from the heat during the summer months. And Flagstaff is actually the snowiest city in the United States, if you can believe it or not. And that is just a 2-hour drive from Phoenix. So it's really not far at all. You can be up in the snow in the winter, get a relief from the heat in the summer, and just enjoy the variety that Arizona has to offer. It is not just a desert here. We really do have a lot of different landscapes here in Arizona. Phoenix is really becoming a hotspot for high-paying jobs in the tech industry, the aerospace industry, the manufacturing industry, and so many other jobs that are coming out here to Arizona. These corporations are moving their headquarters or their manufacturing out here, partly in part due to our favorable laws and just our really large, valuable workforce that we have out here in Arizona. So a lot of these corporations are moving out here to Arizona for a lot of the same reasons that Californians are moving here, and that really benefits everyone who lives here. There's a lot more high-paying jobs, and that just brings a lot more people into the valley. And these jobs include Intel, we have Northrop Grumman, which is the aerospace company. We have Google, Uber driverless headquarters is out here, and so much more. We're also building a really large Taiwanese microchip factory in North Phoenix, and this is going to provide a ton of high-paying tech jobs out here in the valley. It's just an absolutely massive campus that they're building up there, and that just shows how many people are moving out here to Phoenix. You really wouldn't think. A lot of people do not know that Phoenix is such a hotspot for high-paying jobs, but it really is a great place to move up in your career. California is really such a great state, and it is unfortunate how high the cost has gotten there and just how overcrowded it is, causing a lot of people to leave the state. It is, California is a great state, like I said, but I mean, a lot of people are moving there, and there are reasons for that, as we talked about here. Arizona, Phoenix in particular, is just a great place to settle in if you're leaving California because of all the reasons we talked about. We're less crowded, less expensive, you're going to save money, and it's still a very great state that's close enough to your home in California. You can go back and visit family very easily. As I mentioned before, I do offer a free moving to Arizona and Phoenix guide. It goes through so much information about our state and our city, goes through the different neighborhoods and everything like that. So just send me an email and I can send that over to you for free. I was born and raised here in Phoenix, and I am a local realtor here in the Valley. So I have a ton of information about the Valley. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. All you need to do is send me an email or give me a call. Other than that, I'll see you guys at the next video. Thank you for watching.